If you are allergic to dairy, lactose intolerant, or fresh out of butter, can you still grease and flour your pan? Absolutely. Let's discuss our options and then I'll show you how easy it is to do. Hello and welcome to Jackson's Job. First, there are several options and some are better than others. A few I will suggest you avoid altogether to skip problems. What types of fat or grease can we use to prep that baking dish? Well, you could use cooking or baking sprays, but they cannot be used on non-stick surfaces as it will ruin the cookware over time. Also, they're rather expensive, so I don't even like to use this unless I have nothing else available to me. Then there is oil, but it often leaves a weird greasy texture to the crust of your baked goods. Plus, it's really hard to get it to adhere to some surfaces like many non-stick specialty pans and stainless steel in particular. Oftentimes, oil can leave a residue on your pan, and if you don't clean it off very well, it will harden over time and discolor your bakeware. Margarine is very comparable to butter. In terms of how it behaves when greasing and flour, it's pretty much spot on. This is because to be called margarine in the US, you are supposed to have at least 80% fat, which is the minimum standards for butter here. Margarine clings well to the pan and releases wonderfully when you need it to. You do need to look at the ingredients carefully with margarine for hidden milk these days, however. Vegetable oil spreads are hit or miss. They are different from margarines because they will have less than 80% fat. This plant butter, for example, has 79% fat, but it will work great. 1% isn't going to have an impact. However, these other two vegetable oil spreads, one is at 48% and the other is even lower at 38% fat. It is great for controlling your calorie intake, but it's not so great for greasing. This is because they will often create a steam, and as they heat up, this causes the baked goods to sometimes get stuck more firmly to the pan and can cause some issues with the crust, making it a bit soggy or to sweat as it bakes. You're going to have a little bit of issues if you try to use anything lower than 75% fat when it comes to vegetable oil spreads. I recommend just avoiding these altogether. My two personal favorites to use is lard and vegetable shortening. You only need a little bit and they release very cleanly. They are almost always 100% fat. I will let you choose which one of these two you prefer to use. They both react the same way. Finally, you could just use parchment paper, and this is my personal preference for mini cakes. I like to put a piece of the paper on the bottom and allow the sides to be ungreased for that cake to climb up and hold on to as it bakes. I have found that you do need to attach it to the sides with some sort of grease though. When you use the parchment paper, you can use those lower fat vegetable spreads without much problem, as you have created a barrier between your baked good and the pan. Now that we have discussed all our options, let's pick one. You're going to grease it the exact same way. If you have a sifter or a sieve, you can make quick work of the flouring stage, but it's not necessary. If you're going to be greasing and flouring multiple pans, I like to use a flexible cutting board, parchment paper, wax paper, or something like that to catch the excess flour so I can keep using it for the subsequent pans. You will need something like a pastry brush, paper towel, clean lint-free towel, wadded up parchment, wax paper, or even your fingers to coat the pan. I personally like to use a paper towel over anything else, as you really don't have to use a lot this way and you get a really nice even layer of grease all over your pan. Pay close attention to the corners and the walls of the pan when you are coating them. When you are done, there really isn't a lot there. Look, it's not thick at all. Maybe about a half a teaspoon or so worth of grease. Next, you're going to want to put in your flour. And you can use any type of flour you want. Whatever your recipe is using, I use that flour. If you have a fine sifter or sieve, you could sprinkle it around like this. Otherwise, we're just going to toss it into the bottom of the pan and we are going to start shaking and tapping it into place by turning it all directions and tapping out the excess. Use as much flour as you need. Now turn the pan upside down and give it a few taps to get that extra bit of flour out. If you're only doing one pan, I often take this to the sink for a very easy cleanup. For added insurance, a sheet of parchment paper on the bottom of your pan is always wise if you can afford it or have some on hand. Now don't use wax paper unless you know your recipe can handle it, as it can adhere to certain types of baked goods, especially things that use sugar to hold it together like granola bars. I learned this the hard way a long time ago. And there you have it, my friends. This is how you grease and flour a pan without butter. What are your plans for this freshly prepared pan? Let me know in the comments below. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.